everyone. I'm Tim, Yvonne's grandson. Is this Anna? Yes. On behalf of Nana and all the family, thank you for joining us today to celebrate Nana's life and say farewell. Nana lived a full life. She packed about as much into her time on this mortal coil as any person could. In all honesty, such a full life was a blessing and a curse. A blessing for Nana, but a curse for us. We have to cram 34,310 days of activism, adventures, and memories into a couple of hours. Well, let's start at the beginning. The year is 1928. The Roaring Twenties were starting to wind down, but what a year it was. Mickey Mouse appeared in his first film. The Oxford Dictionary was completed and published. The Royal Flying Doctor Service commenced operation. Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic. The 1928 Olympic Games in Amsterdam became the first Olympics to allow women to compete in athletics and gymnastics. The British government passed legislation to lower the female voting age from 30 to 21, adding 5 million more women to the electoral roll, making women a 52.7% majority in the next election. Without doubt, these events assisted in changing the social and political climate of the world. But a reasonable person could argue that the greatest feminist movement of the 20th century would take place in a modest home in Melbourne. On May the 1st, 1928, in North Brighton, a defining, prophetic, fateful moment in the history of left-wing politics and women's rights came to pass. Yvonne Jean Simmons, as she was born, entered the world. Nana as an activist, Nana as a communist, these are sides to Nana that are wonderful and noble and make me proud. Yet these traits and aspects of her identity are not what I'll think of first when Nana comes to mind. I'll remember the smell of the house and Nana's use of rhyming slang. I'll remember trips to South Melbourne Market. I'll remember seeing Nana walk down the hallway to the front door as I peer through the stained glass and ring the doorbell constantly. I'll remember how her basil always grew so enviably well, like a weed. She said it was the sandy soil near the beach. I'll always be proud that my Nana was a talented woodworker with a garage full of tools, and she was a keen angler to boot. Now that we put the pieces together, being a carpenter, skilled at providing fish, as well as politically minded, Nana was basically Jesus. Most of all, I'll remember that she gave me an incredible gift, a love for classical music and opera. And even more special, the gift of being able to create music. She got me into playing the saxophone, she paid for the lessons, and she helped me buy my cello. Mum and Dad would drag me to concerts at the South Melbourne Town Hall when Nana performed with the South Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. I would sit in the back with Grandpa at the refreshments table. I got fidgety. And it speaks to Nana's innate need to defend the rights of minorities that she chose to play the viola, the ugly duckling of the string section. One day, without a moment of discernible realization, I began to enjoy the music. Nana was my key and my ticket into that wonderful world. I saw my first professional orchestra with my Nana and my first opera. 25 years later and 10,000 CDs later, you could say I'm hooked. I love going for drives with Nana, listening to classical music, CDs, cassettes they started off with. Now, on the topic of driving, whoever coined the term driving like a grandma clearly never met our Nana. Bree and I are confident drivers. You might even describe us as hoons. Driving with our dad, Yvonne's eldest son Rod, it was at once terrifying and exhilarating. Our mum would close her eyes and prepare to meet her fate. It was a moment of peace, being so close to death. If we trace the hoon gene back through the generations, we find the concentrated, undiluted, original hoon, Yvonne the Leadfoot. In July 1928, the world's first commercially sold loaf of sliced bread was produced. I would say that Nana was the best thing since sliced bread. However, since her birth preceded sliced bread by 2 months, we can officially say that Nana was the best thing to happen before sliced bread. I love you, Nana. Thank you. Bye-bye.